TheCuttingEdgeCulture.com. I'm here again with Matty Mullins of Memphis May Fire.
What up?
We are here at Ice Jam, and you are also on the Leave It to the Suits tour.
Correct.
Which I kind of read as like it was poking fun at the music industry. From my take on it.
Yeah, I think there's been a couple of them. I think it's more so just like poking fun at the major music industry, you know, like the Suits. In the indie industry, like the guy that booked this tour, Ash, great dude, and our label and everything is awesome. I think they're more so just like referring to just like selling out and like not really playing the style of music you want to play, but it's you know, all the bands on the tour are against that.
So do you kind of have the freedom to choose your own tours?
To an extent, yeah. I guess like once a month we'll get like a certain amount of offers for whatever tours are coming up, and we can just say like we'd rather do that one than that one or whatever. But I mean, we leave most of it up to our booking agent because he knows best, you know.
Very cool. It's kind of cliche, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and I know that that's not the type of person you are.
Right.
You're married and you have a very specific fundamental moral system.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
How do you kind of maintain your sanity and stay grounded while so many other people on tours are not?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think the key is just surrounding yourself with the right people. And I've been so blessed to be in a band with 4 other dudes that have a great set of morals, and they're not out to just like hook up with chicks every night and get wasted and everything. It's like my group of dudes really do have solid heads on their shoulders, and everybody's just in it to write and play music and you know, hopefully change lives and inspire people, and we're all in it for the same reason. So it's easier for me than it is, I guess, for someone who is in a band with a bunch of, you know, just like partiers or whatever.
That must be tough. Songs on the Hollow, some of them hint at previous poor, crappy, destructive relationships. Like
Right.
I said, now that you're married, what do you use to influence your writing now?
Well, I've been married for almost 6 years now. So The Hollow, actually, there's only one song on The Hollow that is about me at all. I wrote the record as a concept album, and each song is a story told by the perspective of somebody that I know very well, either a family member or a close friend, and the things that I've seen them go through, you know. And I really wanted to write a record that had a song that could relate, that, you know, anybody could relate to, and that fans could really, you know, attach to and use as an emotional outlet. So I know there's a lot of things I haven't personally been through that a lot of my fans have and want to use that, and so it worked out really well. But the song "The Victim" is just about me, myself, and our guitar player Kellen, and our past experiences in the music industry. And so that one's about me, but the rest, you know, like "The Abandoned" is about a good friend of mine. You know, I grew up with an amazing father, and I'm so blessed to have had that, but he didn't, and it was a really rough situation. So I watched him go through that as we grew up, and that was really inspiring to me. So I definitely wrote a song about that. And then, you know, the relationship stories are about certain family members and friends of mine, none that I'm going to name personally, obviously, but yeah, just it's been amazing because I've noticed that, you know, on previous records I've written a lot about myself and about my current, you know, like views and opinions, and it's not so much relatable as, you know, like just like really raw, intimate songwriting that kids can just be like, oh my god, like that happened to me, or it's like that song's about me. And that's really what it's all about, I think, is just letting our music mean more than just a song, just words. So
Very cool. We talked last time about the video for The Sinner. It was just about to come out, one of the interviews we did.
yeah.
There's some very like literal imagery about the floating on water, kind of mimicking some of the song lyrics. But then there's some imagery with blood and worms and walking through the forest.
Right.
Who came up with the treatment for that video?
It was partially us, and then partially the producers that did the music video. I think a lot of people, they thought it was just like a random like horror film style music video and didn't really pick up on the meaning, but that wasn't it at all. It has like a very specific treatment, and the shots of me in a suit are me as a believer, and me with obviously like my own thoughts and my set of morals, and then but obviously, like, just like anybody else, you know, I think it's really easy to be consumed by the worldly things, to be consumed by sin, and so the shots of me covered in blood, or, you know, like buried in the worms, or, you know, drowning, that's basically me in the suit seeing myself as a believer that's been consumed by sin. So I'm seeing myself being consumed by sin, but the overall story of the video is that at the end that it never actually catches up to me, that I never really am consumed by sin, and that I make it out. And I guess that's really just the everyday life of a believer. I think, you know, I mean, it's never easy. So
very interesting now that I know a little bit more behind it. How did you deal with being covered in worms and blood? And
honestly, I think it was probably one of the worst experiences of my life. You know, like, at first, I think it was terrible because I had to lay in there and just, you know, like, I had my suit top on, but I wasn't wearing shoes, and so the worms were actually like crawling in between my toes. And that honestly was one of the worst feelings ever. But the worst part was, since I was laying down in it, when I sat up, they had all kind of ingrained in my hair. So our bass player Corey was like combing worms out of my hair, and in the process smashing them, and so like worm guts and everything just like drenched in my hair. And we were shooting the music video out in the woods, and like, I guess our like safe haven while we were shooting was this cabin, but the producer's parents owned it, and so like I couldn't walk in covered in like worm guts. So it was probably like 30 degrees outside, and he had to hose me down with like ice cold water from a hose. So like I was standing just like shivering, and then right after that I did the shot where I was in water, which was also hose water that was like 20 degrees. So it was grueling, you know, but we wanted to do a video that like showed like real emotion and raw emotion, and like when I look like I'm in pain, or when I look like I'm struggling, like I really am, you know. So we were stoked on that.
And the end result,
yeah, we were happy with
clearly worth the discomfort. 10 years ago, the music industry was kind of really oversaturated with boy bands.
Yeah.
5 years ago, kind of like these pop punk acts,
sure,
quote unquote. And now you can kind of say there's a heavier overabundance of sort of hardcore bands. Yeah. Do you think that the industry is kind of oversaturated right now with hardcore acts?
Absolutely. I think the music industry, like whatever's popular, that market's always going to be oversaturated, always, you know. And especially these days, when, you know, back in the day, you know, it took a lot for a band to start up and like get on tour and everything, but these days it seems like so many bands are on the road, and you know, record labels are just like signing bands so fast and throwing them at the wall and being like, if you stick, you stick, and if you don't, you don't, you know, we'll drop you or we'll sign you or whatever. So I think that it's definitely oversaturated. You definitely have to stand out if you want to make an impact on the music industry, you know. So it's like everybody's got their own thing. We've never really been a gimmicky band, you know, but I think that you know, we are one of few bands that always stayed true to who we are, and always just like written music, or, you know, wrote music that we love and that we love to play. And I think kids pick up on that live, and our live show definitely sells us, like I've said before. So I don't know, you always have to find a way to stand out, and I think, you know, we're still ahead of the game when it comes to that. So